So I stopped in to Doug Owen's little pipe shop and man store in Paulsbo, Washington, called Cargo Hold. And I had missed the Pipe Club monthly gathering. They did it a week early, and I'm always booked on the third weekend, so I missed it, but I wanted to stop in and say hi. So we chatted for a while, and he had a Greenwich House antique pipe that looks very much kind of custom built-y, Tom Howard-y. So I'm giving this a try. I like smoking these vintage 50s, 60s dad pipes. And I've got a few more here to show. He also loaned me some, what I'm smoking in here, some From Beyond by Cornell and Diehl. Small batch stuff. This is production date October 2025. This is tin 9396 of 15,000. So, Cornell and Diehl small batch blends are handcrafted in small quantities by our expert blenders right here in South Carolina. The unseen world is fraught with danger. To ignore it seems foolhardy, yet to behold it would invite madness. This decadent blend of heirloom Latakia for us, matured Virginias, aged Orientals, and pure St. James Perique will open your mind to infinite possibilities. Will you turn a blind eye, or will you embrace the beyond? So the listing of what's in here is premium Turkish Latakia, heirloom Cyprian Latakia 2004, Eastern North Carolina Red Virginia 2017, Bright Canadian Virginia, who knew there was such a thing, 2022, Thai Izmir 2019, and Greek Basma 2022. The Louisiana Perique is sourced from St. James Parish. So, yeah. It's on loan. It's like a library book, except you consume a little amount of it. He said, yeah, take this home, give it a try. And honestly, I am the wrong person to do pipe tobacco reviews, because I just have not gotten my sense of taste and smell back since the early days of COVID. I just don't got it. So it's a nice blend, but it's kind of lost on me, all that nuance. So this is a Greenwich House antique. Let's see if it'll focus close. May or may not, I can't quite tell. But one of these, I don't know, nice wood. I don't see a single fill. I see a few little pits. So this was supposedly Algerian briar. I went online, did a little search. I'll put a link to a very interesting, very comprehensive video from a guy who restores pipes, and he was restoring one of these. So it's informative if you ever need a pipe restored, or do that yourself, or need, say, a tenon drilled or something like that. So this one was in Doug's little collection of estate pipes. And, you know, if you need that guy replaced, if it breaks off inside, we have a good person in Idaho to do that for quite a good price. But I put some beeswax on there. It was kind of loose, and boy, it just tightens it right up and lubricates it. Beeswax is an amazing little, just do a little bit on there, and then it works great. So one presumes these were kind of handmade-ish pipes, sort of that, oh, I don't know what you'd call it, it's kind of a routered surface, kind of like a custom built, and I have a variety of pipes here, but I don't know if I brought a custom dash built. Yes, I did. So here is a custom dash built. So this is from 1938 to 46. It was carved, and yeah, see, I just don't know if it'll focus that close. Anyway, interesting rustication, you know. That is the real deal. That's presumably the original. I don't know if Tracy Mincer got his idea from somebody else who did some kind of rustication like this. Bill Unger, in his book, The Bible on Custom Builts, didn't really have any information about that, but there's no obvious progenitor to this early custom built. So what it did is it spawned imitators, because these were kind of a high-endish pipe at the time, and very distinctive, you know. I mean, gosh, isn't that just great? Yeah, that is the real deal. So then we had, this is a Craftsman custom made imported briar, so it's US originated. And all these custom built-ish pipes seem to be US made. So very, very close to that custom built rustication, a little different, you know, but similar. And then we have one that I particularly like. It's a Middleton Rugged Root. And it kind of did its own variation on this rustication. This is just deeper, and it is more rugged, I guess, you know. It has a little different feel to it. Anyway, and then we had, which I thought this pipe was a Tom Howard when I saw it, because Tom Howard pipes were large, custom built-ish. And there are quite a few of them out on eBay. And so it's another variation on that custom built-ish. And some of these, he did some big saucer-shaped pipes. I mean, really big for the time. Tom Howard imported briar, nice and crisp. And this is relatively subdued for some of those Tom Howards. So here's that guy again. And the Greenwich House. So, yeah, It's all very interesting. I call them dad pipes from, the 50s and early 60s probably. So 75 years old. That is pretty amazing. That is pretty amazing. So, and the custom built, 38 to 46, let's call it 1940. Although, who knows? I have no idea. But let's say 1940, so that's 60 plus 25. 85 years. Wow. Pretty amazing. Now, I personally like estate pipes. I like that there have been some experiences with this pipe. I know when I smoke a pipe, if I'm smoking with somebody, I have some great conversation. If I'm smoking by myself, it's very meditative, ruminating time. So it's good, thoughtful time spent with this pipe. And I expect that other guys had similar experiences. So I just appreciate the aura of the pipe, if you will, even though that's kind of woo-woo, but just that it's been enjoyed, smoked, and maybe some thoughtful conversation as a result. I like that. Yeah, Greenwich House. So I don't know much else about Greenwich House, but certainly it's of that period and of that style, what I call a custom-built style, or if it's a little bigger and louder, it's kind of a Tom Howard style. And Tom Howard was a radio personality back in the 40s and 50s. So he lent his name to the pipes. And he was a pipe smoker, apparently. So. And I just don't think it was necessarily a simpler time, like we tend to romanticize that period. Don't forget the witch hunts of the McCarthy period. If you've ever read On the Road by Jack Kerouac, which was written in the late 40s, wow, into the beginning of the 50s. Excuse me. Man, that was stuff was happening in the 50s. I think the common perception or the story sort of discounts all that, but the 60s were a result, and yeah. So I think the 50s are kind of overly romanticized. But it may have been a period where people, we want this, it's going to be this way, and whether it was or not. But that's from the American perspective, and that perspective is what it is, but historically the result of this and that. It was also a time when the CIA was mucking around in Central America and South America and Iran and all over the place. Coups and artificially supported governments, and there was just a lot of crap going on. So yeah. And while we also think of the 50s, or I do, maybe the story I've been fed, it was very, mom stayed at home and worked, and took care of the kids and stuff, and dad worked, and jobs were good then, good enough to allow that. Housing, the price of housing, mortgages, it's a complicated stew, but there's a lot happening. And there was a lot of innovation too. That's when jet aircraft transformed public travel. There's just, there was a lot going on. It was much more complex than I was ever led to believe. Anyway, these pipes are pretty fun. And that's, when you smoke a cigar, there's that cigar you're smoking. But with a pipe, you get to smoke the tobacco, you get to choose what pipe you're going to smoke, you get to, some people even tampers. I just finger tamp. But what lighter you're going to use. There's just it's just such a hobby, without minimizing it, because it does lead to, I think, great conversations. So that for me is one of just the great advantages of pipe smoking. Anyway, it's good. I can't appreciate it, but it's good. Would I sure recommend it? You just have to try stuff for yourself and see if you like it, and not get too stuck in a rut. Just keep trying stuff. So thanks again, Doug Owen at Cargo Hold in Paulsbo, letting me try this stuff. That's great. If you're ever in Seattle or on the west side of Puget Sound, you got to stop in at the Cargo Hold. It's this little tiny shop, but it's just full of tobacco stuff and pipe stuff, and he had Peterson Pipe of the Year, which is a surprisingly polish shape in all kinds of different finishes. So yeah, he's got his Christmas pipes from Peterson and Savinelli out, there. I should do another little video there, because it's such a great place. You really owe it to yourself to visit Cargo Hold, make it a little destination, and then stop at Sly's down the street and have a donut. Join the lineup outside the door to get in. And there's some nice little brew pubs and breweries in town, and yeah, it's great. Thanks, Doug. I really appreciate it. You add so much to the local pipe community. It's a great thing.